Welcome back to Sports on Tap, part of the NEO Sports Insiders Network. I'm Rob Trump. We have Josh Jeffy, Dick, Sean Duffy. And our guests just keep walking in here at Z's Cream and Bean in Hinckley, Ohio. The Brunswick baseball team is here. We have the new head coach, Grant Relic, joining us. We also have Jake Williams. He's a catcher for the team. And Brandon Kenik. He's the first baseman for Brunswick. Guys, thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Now, Grant, this is your first season. You guys are 3 games into the books. I'm sure a lot of postponed games with rain and stuff. Talk a little bit about how your season has started and actually how the whole hiring process went for you from start to finish now.
Jeez. Yeah, again, thanks for having us on here. When it comes to the hiring process, you guys know me. I've been a Brunswick lifer. All my days here. My dad was the assistant coach for 15 years, so was in the program, was an assistant for 5 years under Todd Winston, then was the JV coach for the last couple years. And my opportunity came and was able to get it and take it, and, the program's off and running right now. I got 2 good senior captains here, and Jake and Brandon, who, are kind of filling that void and carrying us right now. It's early in the season. Yeah, we've had probably about 3 games postponed right now. We're 2-1 on the season. Had a close game against Benedictine, won 11-9. Beat a Euclid team on Monday, 20-0. Our pitcher Tyler Pastorelli threw a no-hitter in his first varsity start. Today we faced Solon, who was a Final Four team last year, and we battled with them. We lost 6-5 at home. It was back and forth, and it was one of those games that, even if you lose it, you still come out feeling pretty good because you know that you can compete with almost anybody.
Solon's always a tough team. And, me and Grant go way back playing a long time ago. So it's always great to see the Brunswick alum, come back. And I know you'll do a great job. Talk a little bit about your seniors here. You have Jake Williams, catcher, middle infielder, and what a great batting average he had last year coming into this year. Talk a little bit about what he's done for you as a captain this year so far.
Yeah, Jake's kind of, he's been the catalyst of the program. This is his 4th year on the varsity team. He sits there in the 3-hole for us. Nobody seems to want to pitch to him right now. Out of 13 at-bats we were just talking about, he's got 7 walks already on the year. But, we got his little brother Mike right behind him, who is kind of one of those kids that just has raw talent, ability. Also a catcher, third baseman, and then we follow it up with BK right behind him. And Brandon right now is hitting about 650 on the year. Hit a home run against Euclid. So like I said, it's good to have these guys. But then we got some other seniors, Alex Manier, Nick Jenkins, Jeremy Carthan. I'm probably Connor Daly, Cameron Sasala, our center fielder. We got some guys that are out there that, have been with the program for a little bit. And the nice thing is I've coached them at the JV level, so they're used to my style. So we're having a lot of fun with it. We're just getting started this year. So we're expecting big things.
And talk about your pitching too. Talk about some of the guys. I think you mentioned in the newspaper about some of these guys aren't as experienced as what Brunswick's had, but so far it looks like they're doing a pretty nice job through 3 games.
Yeah, we got Jeremy Carthan's a senior who's back from the varsity team last year. I think he was 3-0 last year. He's kind of a crafty lefty type guy who doesn't really throw hard, but he throws strikes. He get guys out. We got another senior this year that I forgot about, Quinn Villarreal, who's kind of a bullpen guy, one of those really good ones, dependable that you can count on at any moment. And then we're looking for some juniors to step up. Again, Tyler Pastorelli threw against Euclid. He's got a lot of potential, got a lot of pop on the ball. He's got a nice little breaking ball. Threw a no-hitter against Euclid. He's a great kid, comes from a baseball family, knows how to play the game. Johnny Onderak, who's another junior, started today. He's kind of got a weird, funky motion like Johnny Cueto, and he's got his glasses on and eye black and pants pulled up, and but he's a bulldog. He's the type of kid that's going to go out and he's going to compete. And then Jack Gillespie, another pitcher he's a junior that was on the varsity team last year, didn't get a ton of innings, but Had him as a freshman on the JV team and was really impressive. So we're expecting big things out of him. There's a lot of guys. We got about 12 to 14 guys that we kind of can count on at any moment to get out there and be able to throw strikes, so we can mix and match some guys and things like that. And so we're hoping by the end of the year some guys will solidify those positions and spots, and then by the end of the year hopefully be a team that people really don't want to face.
And Jake and Brandon, you guys are seniors. Jake, this is your fourth year on varsity.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about your how things have changed for you personally. As a being a freshman starter to where you're at as a senior. Like, had there been being a 4-year starter, obviously a lot to give to your younger teammates. Talk a little bit about about the shift and as everything's gone through your career.
All right, so coming in as a freshman, it was a big learning curve for me. Game was fast, and I wasn't a everyday starter. Me and the senior catcher at the time were kind of splitting time 50-50, and when I got my shot, I did everything I could to try to win that starting role, try to take over every day, and you know what, just really working hard over the past 3-4 years has helped me slow the game down and really make it a lot easier on me mentally and physically.
And from a leadership standpoint, how has it been shifting in from from a junior to a senior? Because Coach Relic said he's relying on you guys a lot to kind of to bridge the gap in between with the coaching change. How have you guys been handling that with your younger teammates?
There's a lot of guys on the team, first year guys at the varsity level, and main thing is we just try to help them as much as we can, because obviously they've never been there before, and they're nervous. I know I was, so I just want to help them through as the seniors when I was a freshman helped me.
Brandon?
We have a really young lineup right now. I think there's only 3 senior starters right now, so there's a lot of kids who the varsity level, it's new to them. So just getting them in there, being cool with them, relaxing, they're all tensed up. You could tell, their first couple of games, get the butterflies out. Yeah. But after that, it should be smooth sailing with everyone. We gel as a group pretty well. I mean, everybody likes each other. It's a great team.
Yeah, and Brandon, you have a .650 batting average right now, so what's not to like with that right now?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
and
right.
They walk him because they want to get
him, and then they got to pitch to me. So
how nice is that for you?
It's great. I love it.
I mean, does that
not so much for Jake though.
Yeah, I know.
It's miserable for
me. No, man, your OPS has to be pretty high.
I was going to say.
Always on.
Oh, yeah, it's up there now.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a walk. I mean, it stinks you can't swing the bat, but, on-base percentage, getting on base for the other guys.
It all counts.
Your time will come, I'm sure.
Soon enough.
But does that make you a little bit nervous knowing that now you have runners on base, or do you actually like that, they're walking him to get to you, and you're like, all right, now I need to make these guys pay?
I really don't think. I just go through the same approach every time, whether I could have bases loaded. I'm going up there like there's nobody on, just going up there doing my thing, just staying simple with everything through my swing, and that's how I go about it.
That's smart. You don't want to overthink.
The old Manny Ramirez.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah. One question I have for Jake is, as a catcher, based on the information I have, you kind of play catcher and middle infielder a little bit.
Yeah.
You're as Coach Relic mentioned, he's got about 14 guys, all with different styles. Some, are hard throwers. Some have some wonky deliveries, things like that. How different or how much of a transition is it for you for each pitcher? Is there a plan going in, or is it more just kind of how the game progresses?
Obviously, as any pitching staff, we have different plans for different guys. Obviously the guys that don't throw as hard, we're not trying to bust guys in,
right.
trying to get them on the hands, because that's dangerous. But the guys that don't throw as hard, we try to be crafty with, and the guys that throw hard, we can be a little more aggressive, go at guys.
Okay. Do you have the freedom to kind of to call the pitches? You rely on Coach Relic at all?
Actually, me and Coach Moville, the pitching coach, we kind of work together. We bounce ideas off of each other back and forth. He calls pitches, and then we have conversations about what's working, what's not, how we want to approach certain hitters, and kind of I don't know. I don't call the game, but I kind of influence the game, I guess.
Gotcha. And Brandon being such a big target. I mean, I see these professional first basemen. I mean, they can literally scoop everything. Like, I mean, you're pretty good at digging things out, or
today I had one where I kind of bobbled it, so I went out there before the game and I was practicing working on it, but I try my best to get out there and get in front of it. We have a lip at our field sometimes. It hits off it, the classic Brunswick field, but
yes,
we actually made improvements to it. It looks a lot better this year, but I go out there and I try and throw my body in front of it as much as I can from time to time. But I rely on the infield to get the throws, have good throws most of the time. So
right.
So looking ahead to the season, you gotta ask yourself, what is the game you guys are circling on the schedule? What's the one game you guys are one or a couple games that you're always looking forward to because you want to either get them back for beating you last year or you played them close or
there's two games that it's always with Brunswick, Strongsville and Medina. Those are our two biggest games. Strongsville, they got a real good pitching staff this year. A lot of arms coming out of Strongsville. So, I'm excited to see what they got. And Medina, it's always a fun game to play Medina.
Yeah, definitely both of those teams. We've played against the kids forever. Some of them are on our travel teams right now, so you kind of know each other from time to time. But it's always nice being those teams, and having a good game against them. It's a lot of fun.
Coach, I actually have a question. As far as the pitchers go, and I'm not as familiar with high school baseball as I should be, but is there a mandated pitch count for each pitcher? Or is that something that you kind of have to play with on a game-by-game basis?
Yeah, actually this year the OHSAA just instituted a pitch count rule.
Oh.
Where there is, if you throw... I'm trying to be exact on what it is, but it's like if you throw between 1 and 30 pitches, you have to have 1 day's rest in between.
Oh, really? Okay.
You go from 30 to about 55 to 60, you have to have 2 days in between. And it's actually kind of ridiculous because the max it's not a max amount of pitches, but if you throw 125 pitches in a game, you have to have 3 days off in between, which most baseball people would tell you, first of all, if you're throwing 125 pitches, you're probably not doing something right.
Yeah, right.
And your coach left you in way too long.
Yeah.
Most coaches won't let their kids past a certain point, and if they do, you're probably going to give them 4 to 5 days off in between. And I did an interview with Todd Stump, and we were talking about it and how really this new pitch count rule is going to impact the smaller schools.
Right.
When they only have maybe 3, 4, 5 pitchers,
right.
Whereas at Brunswick we got 12 to 14 guys that we can throw out there. And it's really to kind of there was a school talking about how they had a kid throw 7 innings and get a win, and then the next day in a tournament he came back and pitched 2 innings and got a save.
Wow.
And so, that they're trying to just limit the wear and tear on these kids' arms. So it's something that's good that's in place. And you got a lot of coaches kind of thinking about, okay, I got to use these guys. You got to cross them off. Okay, he can't pitch for 2 days. Just trying to take it easy, especially early on in the year.
Now, Grant, talk about, you've been with the program for a while now, but this is the first year that you're the head of the program. Talk about the differences and adjustments that you've had to make, if any, and as far as reestablishing a culture or continuing the culture that has been built. Talk about any of the challenges or any differences that you have faced so far.
Yeah, when it comes to a culture standpoint, I go back to the days that Raguse and I over here, Robbie T, used to play, and I always go back to there was a coach from another school that said, "Man, when you guys walked off the bus, we knew we were in trouble." And when he said that, I try to talk to these guys about that. It's the way you carry yourself. It's the way that you mentally just go about your business. And not coming off looking sloppy, you're ready to go, all that stuff, you're in the dugout. That can have an intimidating factor on the other team. So we're just trying to get that culture, but we want to have fun. It's a culture where we're having fun, and obviously winning helps that. But it's, when it comes to changing the culture at all or anything, I learned a lot from Bill Fry, the late Bill Fry, from my father who was a coach.
Yep.
Coach Winston, who I was there for a long time, I really kind of soak up a lot of stuff from him. I find myself saying a lot of things that he used to say. Probably the biggest challenge really is organization. I mean, it is a all year round. You're dealing with parents and community people, and you really just don't have you wish you had more time to just physically coach. But, it comes with the territory, being a head coach, and I like that role. I like being in charge of things. I like being able to set the practice schedule and, give guys day off when we think that we might need a day off. And I think hopefully the guys, again, a lot of these guys have played for me before, so they know what the culture is kind of like, so it's nothing new for them.
Yeah, I think I remember when we got off the bus and went on the field, and our practice, if it wasn't crisp, I mean, you saw the other teams looking like, oh, this is going to be easy. But if we were crisp every time, didn't make mistakes, we're crisp with the throws, with fielding, everything. I mean, you saw guys look like, oh, man, these guys –
I'm still trying to figure out how someone seeing Rob get off the bus would make them think twice.
I mean, dude, I was huge.
Oh,
okay. Robbie was the man. I mean, you won't find too many smoother shortstops out there than Magoo's.
Especially with his highlighted bleach blonde hair.
That's right.
That I did.
But he kept
frosted tips.
But he kept
Back in the 90s, guys,
No.
everyone had these things called frosted tips.
Yeah,
Correction.
Not
Rob
everybody.
it through the cap, didn't we?
Rob had his
we
entire
did
head.
something. I don't know what it was, though.
You had your entire head bleach blonde, and you kept your sideburns dark.
You know what, that was, and there was a reason. there was a reason
before
for
you guys
that,
were
though.
born.
My mom was actually, and
Yeah.
I think my dad was at the game
Don't
too. But
blame Cindy.
I did not want them to know that I bleached my hair, so they couldn't tell that I actually did it until after the game, and that was in Columbus. We did that. I don't know if you did that.
We
I feel like
probably
it was
dyed
a joke.
your brothers, and we probably
Look
got
what
in
you did,
trouble.
Rob.
So we
Look
had
what
to
you
do
did,
yours.
Sean.
You're probably right. But no, she didn't know till after the game, and I think she almost fainted. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun back in the days, and like I said, when I remember I was coaching a JV game a couple years ago, and it was Coach McMillan from Medina, who was the head coach when we were there, and when he came over and said that to me about, and they were always so good, and he said, man, he goes, we just as a coaching staff kind of knew, man, this game is going to be tough.
Yeah.
I always remember that compliment that he gave, and that's what I try to talk to these guys about.
Absolutely.
The way you carry yourselves has a big impact in baseball.
And you got to have fun and enjoy the game, but at some point you got to be serious too. We didn't talk about your coaching staff at all. Tell us a little bit about your coaching staff. We were talking about how pitches, you let the catcher maybe call some pitches, but you also have your pitching coach and some other coaches on the staff.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough when Coach Spots left after last year I retained quite a bit of his staff. Andrew Zenchek, who's a varsity assistant, played for me a couple years ago, went on to Heidelberg, was a 4-year player there. Great middle infield guy. He's kind of one of those two that keeps the guys loose and jokes around a little bit with the guys, but he really understands the game. Coach Moville, probably not going to find too many better pitching coaches in the area from the great Moville family.
I was going to say, was he one from Berea?
He's the one from Berea that was a year younger than us. He played in the Chicago White Sox organization for a little bit. And then, his brothers, one played at Ignatius, one played at Eds. They all played, professional baseball. And, he really he takes all the pitchers and he does his own thing. He's got his own workout. He calls pitches. He knows all the ins and outs of all of his pitchers. So it's a really good thing. And then really it kind of trickles down, too, to our younger levels. At the JV, we got Ricky Skozen, who's in his second year with the program. Justin Sidlowski, another guy who's a pitching guy, was at Twinsburg. And then at the freshman level, Ricky Manko, who played for me years ago. Matt Kostelik, a.k.a. Whitey, was a pitcher for Brunswick and then went on to pitch in college for several years. So we got a nice staff. Again, part of it is we all get along. We have fun. It just makes it a lot easier to be around people when we're like that.
Now, talk about the younger, like the youth levels. How do you get that culture down at the younger levels all the way up?
This 1 year, obviously taken over this year, one of the things that we're going to really try to do is get involved with the youth programs in Brunswick, too. You obviously have BYS, which is the local organization, but, in Brunswick you have Premier, you have Batcage, you have Ohio Athletics, you got all these different organizations. We have thousands of kids that are out there playing baseball. And the nice thing is they're all really getting coached at the proper level. So we're really going to start implementing, try to do some clinics with coaches and with the kids, and really kind of start to have fun with them a little bit, and hopefully that'll translate on up. When you talk about all the high school kids, we try out together. Some of our practices early on are together, so that way the freshmen see the way that guys like Jake and Brandon are practicing, and they're like, okay, I can't just show up, and go through the motions. This is how these guys practice. So it's really the leadership role that these guys have, showing the younger guys how things are done to motivate them to want to be better as well.
Hey, and guys, with this being your senior year, you guys have an idea what you're doing for college? So you're going to Tiffin, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, Tiffin University.
What do you plan on studying there?
Education.
Very nice.
History.
Cool.
Yeah.
Going for the high school history teacher?
Yep, that's right.
Sounds familiar.
Coach Relic over here. Yeah.
Very nice.
Probably
Very nice.
shadowing his classroom sometime.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brandon, what do you got going on?
Right now, I'm looking at a few colleges, two for the baseball. I would be playing Bluffton University and Hiram College, smaller level D3 schools, but I like them a lot. So it's just going to come down to this decision in a couple weeks here.
Very
so
nice.
We'll go from there.
Do you know what you're going to study?
Business management.
There we go.
Nice.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Ed's very proud.
Hey, we got one. It's very general, but it fits everywhere. Believe you me.
Yes.
Coach Ralph talked about some of the younger, the youth levels, and do you guys involve yourselves in what's going on with the youth levels as well? Try to maybe pop out to some clinics and show some of the younger guys what's going on and kind of expose yourselves to them.
Definitely in the fall of last year, like in 2016, a couple months ago, we put on a clinic, and we had probably about 12 guys, 15 guys from varsity and JV level come out and help. The kids, they look up to us. They see, varsity JV players here. These kids, that could be us one day, and that's a goal they're gonna put out for themselves and set for later on in life as they grow.
You guys were instructing the kids too, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Because my daughter was on the softball side, so that was. I know she had fun. I mean, she's 8, but she's still learning the game, so that was fun, and that's part of what Coach Relic was talking about, getting more involved. Jake, you have aspirations. Are you playing baseball?
Yeah, I am playing college baseball.
Good.
Yes.
Well, good luck. Good luck to both of you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good luck on the season, too.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Thank you.
You still got a long way to go. And Coach Relic, thank you for coming on. Best of luck this season, and hope you can have the same kind of career coaching as Mr. Fry did.
Yeah, that's the one I look up to. I mean, he was a guy that, again, with my dad being the assistant coach for years, I spent a lot of time with him, and he was a unique personality to say the least. But we all knew that, but he was
a
great
great
guy. He was a great guy, great coach, and that's why I do what I do. Is I've had great coaches in my life, and I want to be able to leave that lasting impression on the kids. I want them coming back to games. I want them coming back to alumni golf outings, and I want to be able to keep in touch with them, and I want to be coaching for as long as I possibly can, and then eventually you have their kids, and those types of things playing for you. So, I appreciate you guys having us on. Hopefully, we'll be tearing it up here on the ball field pretty soon, and next time we come out here, hopefully we'll be talking about some championships that we've won.
That's right. After the season, I'd love to have you guys back on, and your dad and Bill Fry, great coaches. So good luck, you guys.
Thank you
good
very
luck
much
this
for coming
season.
on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
That's head coach of the Brunswick Blue Devils baseball team, Grant Relic, joins us, along with Jake Williams, who's a catcher, and Brandon Kenik, who's the first base. I want to thank them for joining us. All right, when we come back, more Brunswick sports coming up. Brunswick wrestling on the way as they wait in the wings. Logan Heel and Nick Kousis coming up next.